Hey, it's Matt from Kefalos. Today I'm going to go into some of the, the video processing techniques that we used for the 3 Molly EP videos. You may have seen them released on our channel recently. If not, go check them out in the description below. So yeah, just before lockdown, Nessa and I shot a bunch of footage around Chicago. It took us longer to get around to completing these videos than we wanted to. A lot of that came down to technical reasons and also just weirdness with the pandemic and stuff like that. I wanted to do more videos involving depth maps. We had done several videos in the past where that used depth maps for various different things. We usually used, actually I think we exclusively used the Connect for that in the past. I spent a long time diving deep into the web searching for stuff that was available to do this, and I ran into some horrendously expensive software for this for feature films. Actually, it's for a lot of feature films. They release in 3D, but they aren't shot in 3D. They're shot on normal like 2D cameras, because 3D camera rigs can be kind of a pain in the butt to work with because of their giant size. So they'll often convert it in post, and there's some software out there that will help you do that. But a lot of it is crazy expensive, and even one that I found, they wouldn't even list pricing on their website. And for a while, it seemed like finding a software solution wasn't an option. I even found, at the time when I first searched for this, I found some white papers that people had written on machine learning using it to extract depth maps, and they even had some code examples and stuff, but it was stuff that was a little bit beyond my understanding, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to implement it and make it usable. We searched for a while for how to actually do this, and we even considered constructing like a mobile Microsoft Kinect rig, like a laptop and like a battery bank or something, to go around the city and actually shoot. But that seemed cumbersome and probably would have had some issues, a lot of issues. Who knows? It probably could work, but it seemed like more of a pain than it was worth. So anyways, I had given up hope on the whole depth map thing, and basically had stopped looking for a solution and put the whole project on hold. I even put together like this little edge detect solution where it was like it would detect the edges of the footage and kind of like pulse it to the beat, which I'd used in like a previous project, well, actually unreleased project, that I can't show for copyright reasons. It's a cool effect, but it still wasn't what I wanted for this video. I wanted something that you could really feel like the depth of the video in a way. And then YouTube's algorithm came in to save us. I found this little video just by chance, exactly what I was looking for, on Cinecom's YouTube channel. They're a cool little YouTube channel. They break down how to do VFX in After Effects and Premiere and stuff. And they focus a lot on music videos and stuff, which is really cool. And they also break down like how to do certain cool effects in some movies and stuff. Sometimes they're cool. It's a cool thing. You should check them out. But they had this whole video on how to process these depth maps and stuff, which is awesome. They had a link to a cool website. Apparently there's a software called StereoPhotomakers. They had a cool download for some software from Google, the Google AI team. So Google AI had this whole, I guess it's called the Mannequin Challenge. It's a weird machine learning thing. Basically, they had a data set of video clips of people frozen like mannequins and stuff like that, and they had a bunch of them, and they wanted people to build models, machine learning models that would analyze and get the depth out of it. And that's actually what I used, because it not only did it work on people, it actually also worked pretty good on other things as well. And he's got the code all in this little zip file here called 2D to depth. It's basically without this wouldn't have been possible for free. So I'm very thankful that this showed up just out of nowhere. It was pretty awesome. So after we gathered the footage from around the city, I needed to do some pre-processing on it, because some of these videos were kind of like shaky. Some of that's due with filming on the model pod and the wind and stuff like that.
So you could let go of it. Make it more stable.
And so we use After Effects for stabilization. I can't really show you the workflow because we don't subscribe to After Effects or any of the Adobe Creative Cloud stuff anymore. It was getting too expensive, especially running into the pandemic. And we've since replaced them with, I've replaced most of them with Davinci Resolve, Infinity Photo, and Infinity Designer. And Davinci Resolve is a little bit clunky for video editing sometimes, shockingly. It does some weird things. It crashes. It's not as good as Premiere, but it's free. So, but basically in After Effects, I came up with I guess a template roughly where I could import all of these clips and have it stabilized to the best of its ability, kind of automatically, and then I kind of trimmed them down in After Effects. And there were certain shots that had some like weird things in it, like usually, like by weird I mean like it's not that weird, but they had like logos and stuff in them. So we went through and chopped out things like so there were some logos and some shots, and also some advertising and stuff you'll see over here. But like this truck had a brand on it, so I had to track the truck moving throughout the shot, which was kind of annoying because it passes behind things later. I don't know why the performance of this clip inside of VLC is so atrocious. But yeah, so this truck passes behind this, so we had to do some basic rotoing there to make it pass behind. And these balloons had an advertisement on it, so it kind of just, well, it was mostly white anyway because the whites were clipped, so I just kind of replaced it with white. Within reason, and we kind of had to maintain that gradient on there of the shadow on the back side of it. And then over here you've got a billboard here, and instead of just making a solid color, which I could have done, I just blurred the crap out of it and did some same stuff for some stuff in the background too that were also like advertisements and stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of throughout the video. There's stuff like that. There's a lot of like little things where I had to like doctor the images and kind of clean up stuff that was kind of distracting and detracting from the thing. In fact, I think there's some stuff. Yeah. So like these in real life have some branding for the location that we shot at. So I got rid of that. Like I didn't even do it very well. Like you can kind of see some artifacts down here of it. Yeah, I think I just used the not the roto brush. What's it called? The clone stamp tool inside of After Effects. That worked decently for that. There's probably better ways of doing that. I'm not compositing genius or anything. But yeah, I just thought that was a nifty thing. Yeah, so the clips were combined together in various ways depending on the video. Sometimes as simply as editing them together in an NLE like Resolve, a nonlinear editor, that's what NLE stands for, and other times using Touch Designer to auto-edit. More on that in future videos. After prepping the clips, they were fed into the 2D to depth program. So one of the downsides of 2D to depth is you have to export your entire movie as a PNG sequence. We used Blender for that. It's free. It's amazing. I love Blender so much. There's probably many other ways to export a PNG sequence, and I'm not going to go to the full tutorial, but the gist is you want to, when you export your movie, export it as a PNG, but you do not want to export it with the alpha channel. You don't want RGBA in there, and because what happens if you do is when you run 2D to depth, you're going to get this error. It's going to tell you basically it expected 3 channels but got 4 channels instead. And so the simple fix is to just export as RGB only. Yet 2D to depth will return an image like this, where it's got the standard image on the left and then the depth on the right. But you will notice there is a slight problem with this image on the left, because originally I was trying to use this image on the left as like my main background image, like back here in the actual video in Touch Designer. But the problem is it outputs like a 1024 by 288 image, and that's really low. That's really low res. Yeah, because that's stretched over both images. And it's fine for like that to be low res-ish, but and there's even a section of code in there that I found eventually where you can actually turn up the resolutions of the depth maps, and it's actually in this loaders file and then image folder.py, and if you open with VS Code. So this is the part of code that I edited, I think. Yeah, I added this image multiplier function. So on line 328 and on a little bit, up to like 330 something, in the image folder py, you can edit the size of the image. Now notice I added the multiplier to each one of these lines, because I didn't have enough time to go and fully nitpick and pull apart like how this all works. Basically, this is 1.5 times larger than it would usually spit out. There are other things that reference like the image size throughout. I don't remember where they are exactly, but it seemed like it was working correctly and as intended, but I could be wrong. Yeah, but the reason why 1.5 is because for whatever reason it would just error out, and then if it wasn't like a perfectly divisible number, and I also didn't have enough time to look into why that was the case either. But if I increase it to 2 times, which theoretically should also have worked, I ran out of graphics card memory. I think my graphics card has like 6 gigs of memory, and I think at the default settings it probably uses at least 4 or 5 gigs. I think it uses 4 gigs. I saw in the error message earlier that it uses 4 gigs just to load up PyTorch, which is like a machine learning library thing. Yeah, import torch. There he is. Yeah, so it takes up a good amount of graphics card memory. You can't do this on a small graphics card, but thankfully most graphics cards, well, I don't say most, but it's becoming more and more affordable to have a decent amount of memory in your graphics card. There is a caveat to this. I did realize StereoPhotomaker website, he has a link to a Google Colab version of this, and if you're unfamiliar with Google Colab, it's like an online like Python notebook, like in the cloud thing, where you can actually run Python code like in the cloud. Where you can actually run Python code in the cloud, and stuff like that. And in these services, you should have more GPU resources available. I'm not sure what Google Colab has, but I took this code. I was using it for another project recently, and I took this code and I was running it on Paperspace Gradient, I think. Some machine learning online Python notebook type thing where you can run Python code in the cloud as well. Same sort of concept. And I was running stuff on there, and you get some pretty large GPUs at your disposal there. You may have to pay money for these. There is some free stuff that you can do, but you might run into limitations and stuff like that. Anyways, long rant. So stay tuned, because the following week I'm actually going to start going into the first video, like the actual touch designer stuff. Just trying to get the back end, like the pre-processing stuff out of the way in this video, because it's to me it's a little bit boring, but it's also kind of important, because if you don't have this step, you don't have any of the next steps. So you just want to get that out of the way this week and have something that people could go back and reference and be like, wait, how did you get these steps? Where did these come from? Like, so hopefully it's a useful resource for people. Yeah, so anyways, if you want to see those videos, you can like, subscribe, leave comments if you have questions, stuff like that, the whole YouTube deal. All right, well, that's it. Bye.
What you doing?
I'm recording.
Ah, shit! Fuck, babe. Fuck! I keep doing this shit. So this lady was using somebody.
Oh my God, babe.
Oh shit! Oh shit! I'm so sorry.
Here, give me a minute. Let me wrap this up. I think I'm almost done.
Okay, good. Hi, Melanie.